This is Dan Azeez coming out of the Cool Box Gym, the future light heavyweight division. Big up, sporting icon. Make sure you follow and subscribe.
Now, I've always been a big fan of Hosea Burton, and I have been for quite some years. In fact, I was gutted for him when he lost to Frank Buglioni. I really was. But of course, Hosea Burton, of course, he's born in my city of Newcastle. Of course, he's been raised a little bit further down south. And of course, he's cousins with Tyson Fury and what have you. But as good as I always felt Hosea Burton is, the ability that he has, the height, the reach, the boxing skill, the finesse, everything that he's got, he does have the traits of a typical Joe Gallagher fighter. Some people may not like me to say that kind of thing, but Joe Gallagher always seems like he's tactically inept and defensively flawed. All of his fighters seem to be that way. I've liked many of his fighters. I really have. In fact, one of my favourite fighters is Callum Johnson. Of course, I've interviewed him on a couple of occasions. But when it came to this fight with Dan Azeez, it played out pretty much how I thought it was going to play out. Now, Dan Azeez, he beat a friend of mine in Lawrence Osaweki not so long ago for the English light heavyweight title. And as much as I always saw something with Dan Azeez, but in that fight, for me, he really announced himself where I thought, okay, this lad could go on to do something pretty good. Because Lawrence Osaweki is actually a very, very good fighter. He really is. Go check out his GB background. But Dan Azeez has been coming on from strength to strength. And him against Hosea Burton, I always felt that Dan Azeez was going to get it right. And the overhand rights and the body shots is exactly what's going to play into Dan Azeez's hands, and that's pretty much how this fight played out. Now, this fight gets stopped in 7 rounds, but Dan Azeez, he won each and every round quite wide, in my opinion. There wasn't really too much of a time when Hosea Burton was really in the fight. That surprised me a little bit, as much as I felt Dan Azeez was going to win this fight, and I did feel that he's going to win it by stoppage as well. But I thought that Hosea Burton would have a little bit more success in this fight than what he did. But I think it's because I've always believed in Hosea Burton, in his attributes. As I said before, he's a Joe Gallagher fighter. So when you've got defensive flaws, somebody with the pressure and the ferocity as a Dan Azeez, 9 out of 10 is always going to get on top of you. Okay, but Dan Azeez is just proving to be one of the guys that people should be mentioning in the light heavyweight division. And I've been saying it for the past couple of years. When you talk about the light heavyweights, especially here domestically, of course, you do have to put up the likes of Callum Johnson at the top of the tree and all those kind of guys. But when people start talking about the light heavyweights, when people are talking about Hosea Burton, when people are talking about Lawrence Osaweki, Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur, Craig Richards, and the list goes on, you should have been mentioning Dan Azeez. And hopefully now people will do going forward. But this was a very, very one-sided performance. I mean, he caught Hosea Burton with some huge, huge shots. I mean, on one of the replays, it looked like Hosea Burton's jaw actually dislodged. I don't know if that turned out to be true or not. I don't know. It just looked it on the slow motion replay. But the big shots that were coming through, Hosea Burton had no answer to. Again, because he doesn't really have the defensive capabilities. But the big shots that were coming through, Hosea Burton's face was getting bust up in round number 5 and round number 6, and you could sense the stoppage was on the cards. Now, thankfully, the referee did step in. Dan Azeez just caught him with some huge shots on the ropes. Nothing was really coming back, and Hosea Burton just had that, I'm out of here. I've had enough. You could see the energy just sapped away from him, and I felt bad for him. But ultimately, this is about who is the best, and Dan Azeez, not only has he won the area title, the English title, now the British light heavyweight title. He's going in the right direction. And I liked what he said after the fight as well, where people need to get in the mix. When you're talking about domestically, here in the UK, we have a lot of good light heavyweights. We really do, but unfortunately, some of them do seem to be guiding along, potentially wrongly, where they'll kind of float around the British level, but then totally skip the European level and go straight into world level. And unfortunately, some of them do take losses. Okay, they do get pushed a little bit too soon, in my opinion. Obviously, because That's where the money is at world level. There isn't too much money in the light heavyweight division domestically, and of course for European level. World is where the money is. Ultimately, it's prize fighting. But for me, I'd like to see, and I don't know how likely it is, but I'd like to see Dan Azeez. I'd like to see Craig Richards. I'd like to see Joshua Boatsi, Anthony Yard and Lyndon Arthur and quite a few others do some kind of tournament. I really would. Could we put Callum Johnson in there too? Could we put Callum Smith in there too? Maybe. But it's probably unlikely. But either way, I think Dan Azeez, very, very good performance tonight. Hosea Burton just couldn't live with him. And that's the truth of it. He just really, really couldn't. Anyway, congratulations to Dan Azeez and the new British light heavyweight champion. Congratulations. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up. Subscribe. Catch you on the next video.